Before we begin, please imagine the bell notification is on and you're subscribed to Huna Stories. He started flinching about a month ago. Not dramatically, just small contractions in his shoulders whenever I reached across the table for the salt, when I lifted my hand to brush his hair back, when I moved too quickly in the hallway. At first, I thought it was me. Work had been heavy, long shifts, short temper. I replayed conversations in my head at night, wondering if my voice had hardened without me noticing. I asked him once, lightly, if I'd been too strict lately. He shook his head too fast. The flinch came again that Saturday. I raised my hand to wave off the dog and he recoiled, not away from the dog, from me. "Son," I said carefully, lowering my hand midair. "I would never—" "I know, Dad," he said it, quickly, urgently. "I know you wouldn't." The words should have relieved me. They didn't. But Grandpa does. There are moments when your brain refuses to translate language. It hears the syllables but refuses the meaning. "Does what?" I asked. He didn't cry. That's what unsettled me most. No tears, no performance, just compliance. He lifted his shirt, fresh belt marks angled and red across his lower back. I remember feeling something shift. Not an explosion, not rage, something colder. Something that organizes instead of burns. "Mom drops me there every day while you're at work," he said. "She says it's easier." Easier? I didn't shout. I didn't swear. I asked him when it started, how often, where. Then I took pictures. My hands were shaking, but the camera didn't. I made sure of that. I called my lawyer first, not because I wasn't furious, because fury without structure loses. He told me exactly what to do. Document. Do not confront in person alone. File an emergency motion. Contact Child Protective Services immediately. Then I called my father-in-law. "I'm coming over," I said. He laughed, the same low, dismissive laugh he used at barbecues when I disagreed with him about politics or discipline. "For what?" "Check your driveway," I said. He laughed again. I heard ice clink in a glass. His voice changed when he saw. The patrol car was already parked. A child welfare investigator stood beside it, clipboard in hand. I hadn't waited for his reaction before making the call. The report was filed, the photographs were submitted, the emergency motion was in process. Silence on the line. "Then you called the police?" "I called the right people." "You don't understand how we handled things back then." "I understand exactly." There it was. Not denial, just justification wrapped in nostalgia. The investigator spoke to him outside. I watched from my car across the street. My son in the back seat, seatbelt fastened, staring straight ahead. I didn't let him see his grandfather's face. Authority doesn't shout, it writes. Questions were asked, the belt was retrieved from inside the house, statements recorded. My father-in-law's posture changed gradually. Not problematic, smaller, less certain. He tried to wave me over once. I stayed where I was. My phone buzzed. My lawyer confirming the emergency custody filing had been accepted for review. A hearing would be scheduled within days. Temporary restrictions likely. When the investigator approached my window, she spoke gently to my son, asked him simple questions. He answered in the same flat tone he'd used earlier, not dramatizing, just reporting. That tone will stay with me longer than the marks. By evening, my wife was calling nonstop. "You embarrassed him," she said when I finally answered. "He left marks on our son. That's how he was raised. That's how you were raised. I'm not raising him that way." There was a long silence, not confusion, a split. "You should have talked to me first." I needed to make sure it stopped first. The hearing came fast. The judge reviewed the photographs, the investigator's report, my son's statement. My father-in-law didn't meet my eyes in the courtroom. My wife cried, I didn't. Temporary sole physical custody was granted pending full review, supervised visitation only, mandatory parenting evaluation for anyone seeking unsupervised access. The gavel didn't sound dramatic, it was just wood on wood. Control shifted in a sentence. At home that night, my son sat at the kitchen table doing homework. I reached for the salt again, deliberately slow. He didn't flinch. Not because everything was fixed, because the threat was gone. Trauma doesn't evaporate with paperwork. He still startles sometimes at loud noises, still asks before closing doors. We're starting therapy next week. My wife is staying with her sister. She says I overreacted. Maybe she believes that, maybe she's protecting something she doesn't want to examine. I sit beside my son's bed most nights now, not because he asks, but because I want to hear his breathing steady into sleep. Breaking something that's been passed down doesn't feel heroic. It feels administrative. Forms, phone calls, waiting rooms. My father-in-law hasn't called since the hearing. I didn't scream at him, I didn't threaten him. I just made sure the driveway was occupied when he stepped outside. And when I raise my hand now, to wave, to reach, to rest it on my son's shoulder, he looks at me instead of away. That's enough.